Heather, good to have you. I mean, so many different things to try to grab a hold of here to get a key takeaway. But what are you looking at here as sort of some of the keys, given what does seem to be a rather historic day for streaming?
Absolutely. Good morning, and thanks for having me. This is an historic day, especially for Netflix. But, they have been in precarious waters before, so I have no doubt long term they're going to find a way to pull out of this very challenging moment. I think they underestimated the power of the competition, particularly in the U.S. So for me, the major takeaway here is that the U.S. market has heated up over the last 2 years with the launch of all the major media companies, streaming services. Netflix downplayed that in the beginning, and now they're seeing, that the heat has really been turned up, and they're struggling to compete. They've lost more than, 1 million more subs in terms of cancels in the U.S. than they normally do in a quarter ever in history. And so when you think about where they're headed in the U.S., they really need to up their game.
All right. I mean, this is a company that spends $18 billion on content, by far the most of any of these so-called streamers. What do you mean when you say up their game? What are they supposed to do? Spend even more?
Well, they need to make their content dollars work both harder and smarter, right? So it's really about understanding their audience. They've struggled to create enough hit content week after week to keep subscribers coming back, when today with the major media companies, there's a lot of great content coming out. And even from other news services like Apple TV, the quality of the content coming from the competition is growing over time. And so, Netflix has traditionally taken a strategy of throwing a lot of different things against the wall and seeing what works. And I think they're going to need to double down on quality.
Yeah, but, it's not just the domestic market, of course. The real growth opportunity is around the world. And there does seem to be some question now about that total addressable market, because there are pockets of growth that were expected to show up this quarter didn't. Does this question sort of how many consumers are out there and available for what would still be the growth opportunity for Netflix and its other competitors?
I actually think that the market outside of the U.S. is still very much untapped. So I don't have as much concern about that growth. Obviously, when you start expanding into emerging markets like India, while the subscriber numbers are going to look impressive, the ARPU, the average revenue per user that you can get from those subscribers, is going to be lower. But there is still tremendous untapped opportunity in Asia and in other parts of the world. So I'm still bullish on their international growth. And Netflix has really been the gold standard in terms of that international expansion. So I think they're well positioned to continue to shine there.
Heather, it's Morgan. I mean, Netflix in the last couple of years made some very big ticket, high profile acquisitions in terms of content and content creators, the Obamas and Meghan Markle and Shonda Rhimes, and there have been a number of others. What is this conversation, and what does what we're seeing play out with these financial results do to that strategy moving forward? I mean, can we say we're sort of at content pay peak at this point?
Well, it's hard to say that. I don't think that can exist when you have this kind of competition in the market. So I don't think we've hit that peak. But again, I think they need to be really smart about how they develop their audience. And, the Shonda Rhimes investment obviously paid off. Their two biggest hits are Bridgerton and Inventing Anna. Some of the others, maybe not so much. So they need to really think about where they're putting their dollars and be a little bit, and just play this for the long haul and for quality.